As always, welcome into class. Lovely to have everyone here. Let's begin by rolling down on the back of the body. So lying yourself all the way down flat to the floor. And then let's bring the feet today into butterfly. So soles of the feet come down together and then releasing the knees down to the floor. Just bringing the arms out to shoulder height, turning the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. If you don't have much room around you, you can always bend through the elbows so that we're goalposting out or creating cactus arms with the arms. And again, palms of the hands face up towards the sky. Gently allowing the eyes to close here in whatever position you are in. And just starting to bring your awareness into the current space. Bringing yourself into this moment. Feeling the body resting down on the floor. Just taking the time to anchor yourself into class. Leaving anything that you still need to do with the day. Any tasks that still require your attention, just allowing yourself to leave those behind for the next hour. Allowing yourself to leave the busyness of the day behind. Bringing yourself into this moment, into the physical body. Taking some time to check in to notice how the body feels. Seeing if you can soften, release any points of tightness, any points of tension through the body. And then aiming to bring our awareness into the breath. So as we start to settle through the body, to soften, we can perhaps start to focus our attention, our awareness into the breath. To observe the breath as it travels in and out through the body. Feeling a gentle movement through the belly as we inhale and exhale. If you notice any noises in the background, aiming just to take the awareness, the focus back inside the sensations of the body and the breath. And then as we start to feel a little more settled, a little more grounded here, let's gently release the arms, drawing the knees together and then hugging the knees into the chest, perhaps squeezing the knees in towards the elbows and then releasing. Let's bring the arms out to shoulder height, keeping the knees drawn in close to the chest, inhaling. And then exhaling, let's drop the knees down towards the right elbow, turning the head to look out to the left. Seeing if you can rotate a little further through the hips so that the knees are stacked one on top of the other. Engaging the core, inhaling, let's lift up back to center, and then exhaling, taking the knees down to the left. So aiming to take the knees down to the left elbow, and the head turns to look away. So head turns looking out to the right hand. Again, seeing if we can soften here, softening through the elbow. Continuing to work to rotate through the hips. Aiming to bring the knees one on top of the other. So you'll notice perhaps if we relax and soften through the hips, then the knees drift apart. And then engaging the core, inhaling, lifting up once more to each side. Exhaling, knees drop down to the right, head turns to look out to the left. And then softening here. Again, drawing that attention in, seeing if we have the knees stacked, one on top of the other. Continuing to soften through the shoulders. And then once more, engaging the core. Inhaling, lifting, drawing the knees back up to center. Exhaling, dropping the knees down to the left. Head turns to look to the right. Softening through the shoulders. Aiming to soften through the knees. Continuing to rotate through the spine, rotating through the pelvis. And then engaging the core, inhaling, lifting the body up. And then making sure the spine feels long and aligned. And then let's drop the knees down to the feet down to the floor rather. So leaving the knees bent, lifting through the pelvis. So inhaling, lifting the spine off the floor, lifting the pelvis up into the sky. Exhaling, releasing, dropping one vertebrae at a time down to the floor. And then exhaling, let's drop those knees down to the right. Head turns to look out to the left. And again, just softening here. Inhaling, lifting up. Let's inhale, lifting, rolling through the spine. Exhaling, softening down. And then with your next exhalation, dropping the knees down to the left. Head turns to look out to the right. And again, just releasing, relaxing, softening here. This is a fairly subtle stretch. You may not be able to feel anything in the body. So I encourage you to really take the mind, the awareness into the body and just notice what you can. Inhaling, drawing the knees back to center. Head returns back to center. Let's lift up once more. And then rolling the spine back down. So making sure as we roll back down that the spine feels long and aligned, and then dropping the knees down to the other side. So turning the head away. And then this time, let's lift that lower leg out from underneath you, wrapping it over the top leg, and then using that extra body weight to gently help increase the stretch here. Softening, allowing the eyes to close, checking in with the shoulders, checking in with the neck and the jaw, making sure that the body is soft. And then unwrapping the legs, bringing the feet and the knees back up to center. Inhaling, let's peel the spine off the floor once more, moving slowly. Exhaling, releasing down. So really trying to slow this movement down to articulate through the vertebrae. And then last time, knees drop down to the side, head turns to look away. And then if you would like to, if you do on the opposite side, lifting that lower leg out from under you, crossing it over the top leg, and then just softening. Again, taking the mind, the awareness down into the body, noticing where you feel the stretch. And then gently releasing. So unwrapping the legs, bringing the knees back up to center. And then let's once more peeling the spine off the floor, lifting the pelvis up into the sky. And slowly releasing yourself back down. So really working to curve through the spine as we lower down. And then from here, let's work our way into a pigeon on the floor, on the back of the body. So leaving your left leg planted, let's lift through the right, and then drawing that right ankle, resting it just over the knee, lifting the left leg off the floor, and then reaching through, aiming to take hold of the back of the knee here. Softening through that back leg, releasing the head and the shoulders back down to the floor. If you would like to, you can see if you can reach the hands to the top of the shin. So whatever works, whatever is most comfortable for you. So either option. And then to protect the knee. So if we have any pain through the knee, gently flex the foot, and you might need to even release out a little bit. So focusing on flexing through the foot, perhaps drawing that left knee gently towards you, at the same time working to push the right knee just gently away, feeling that stretch through the hip, through the buttock. Breathing, taking the awareness into the sensations of the stretch. And then gently releasing the left leg back down, unwrapping the right leg. And then let's work with the opposite side. So that this time lifting through the left leg, lifting the right leg up off the floor, reaching through, taking hold of the right leg wherever is comfortable for you. Again, flexing through that foot if you would like to, and then softening here. Making sure that the right knee is not collapsing over to the left. So we want to have the thigh and the knee pointing straight up into the sky. And then continuing to gently draw the right knee towards you and the left knee away from the body. Breathing. Seeing if you can soften any tension. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then gently releasing yourself out of the posture. So unwrapping the leg, and then let's hug the knees into the chest once more. Releasing, taking the feet up into the sky. Let's engage through the core, keeping that control through the core, and slowly lowering the heels down towards the floor. Slowly with control. At any point, if you need to, you can always bend through the knees, and then aiming to hover the feet gently off the floor, and then drawing the knees into the chest. Let's work once more. So taking the feet up into the sky, keeping the core engaged, slowly lowering the heels down to the floor, hovering the legs off the floor, and then drawing the knees into the chest, squeezing them in, and then let's move into some spinal rolls. So let's cross the ankles, reaching down on the outside of the legs, aiming to take hold of the big toes. Alternatively, if we can't reach the feet or the toes, bringing the hands in underneath the knees, the backs of the knees or the thighs. From either position, we gently start to rock the body backwards and forwards, working our way up to a seated position, and then rolling yourself back down. So really working to curl through the spine as we roll the body down, and then working to lift as we lift the body back up. So curving through the spine, lifting through the head, working with a few more. And then let's cross the ankles over in the opposite direction. And then continuing to roll, giving the spine here a nice massage. And then rolling ourselves up to a seated position, coming onto the hands, tucking the toes under, and then let's take the tailbone up into the sky, pausing here, allowing the head and the neck to soften down to the floor, taking hold of the elbows, and then let's gently sway from side to side. Checking in with the head, with the neck, making sure that we're just allowing the head to dangle down towards the floor, that the neck is letting go as well. And then coming back to center, releasing the hands down towards the floor, and slowly let's roll the spine up. So aiming to stack one vertebra on top of the next as we roll the body up until we come all the way up to standing, having a nice shake out while we are here. And then let's take the arms up overhead, Coming onto the balls of the feet, tiptoeing around on your mat or the floor, whatever is underneath you, rotating through the wrists as well. And then coming down onto flat feet, taking hold of one wrist. So using our right hand, taking hold of the left wrist, leaning over towards the right, finding that stretch through the side of the body. Inhaling, lifting up, swapping over. So bringing the left hand to the right wrist, leaning over. Inhaling, lifting once more to each side. I mean to keep the feet flat on the floor. Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, folding or softening over to the side. Bringing the emphasis here to wherever you need it. Inhaling, lifting up. Let's once more stretch up, lengthening as tall as you can, moving from one side to the other side, lengthening out, growing taller, longer here. And releasing, circling through the shoulders. And then back the other way. All right, let's bring the feet nice and wide apart. So comfortably wide apart, drawing the arms up towards shoulder height, gently engaging the core, inhaling. Let's exhale as we fold over, pausing at halfway, looking forward, and then seeing if we can bring the arms out in front of you, keeping the engagement through the core, spine stays nice and long, releasing the arms back out to the side, and then working once more. So taking the arms out in front of you, aiming to have the body, so the spine and the arms parallel with the floor, releasing. And then let's soften the body down. So releasing through the arms, releasing through the head, through the shoulders, and then drawing the hands to the elbows. Pulsing the body up and down, releasing here through the backs of the legs, perhaps even feeling some release through the lower back. And then let's take the forearms over to the outside of the right foot. Continuing with that pulsing motion through the upper body. Releasing back to center and then over to the left. Taking the awareness into the backs of the legs. Noticing how the sensations shift as we shift the body. Working your way over to the right. Coming back to center. And then last time working our way over to the left. Releasing back to center. And then just pausing here for a moment. And then releasing the hands down to the floor if you can. Bringing the hands, palms of the hands down flat to the floor. So fingers point away from the body here. And then you might like to see if you can walk the hands a little bit back behind you. Seeing if we can lengthen through the backs of the legs, feeling the tailbone lifting up into the sky. Feeling whether that helps to create a little more length through the spine. Bringing the head a little closer to the floor. Gently releasing, so walking the hands back underneath you, and then let's heel and toe the feet so that they come to hip width distance apart, bringing the hands to the hips, gently having a soft bend through the knees and rolling the spine up. Coming all the way up to standing, releasing the hands, and then let's interlace the hands behind the back of the body. So from this position, hands are interlaced, fingers are interlaced, rolling the shoulders back and down so that we feel open through the chest. And then from here, working to squeeze the shoulder blades and the elbows together. So feeling that nice opening through the front of the chest, continuing to stay active, drawing the shoulder blades together, keeping a gentle engagement through the core. So making sure we're not popping out through the belly, and then releasing. And then Let's work once more. Before we do, let's step the feet back nice and wide apart. Rolling those shoulder blades back and down, working to squeeze the shoulders together and then squeezing the elbows together, dropping the hands down towards the floor. So working to keep a gentle bend through the elbows, but we're starting to straighten the arms a little bit. And then inhale, exhaling, keeping the core engaged as we fold the body forward. And then taking the arms up towards the sky. So just working with whatever movement you have here. You may not get much movement through the arms, through the shoulders. Continuing to stay active, continuing to draw the shoulder blades together and softening the head down towards the floor. Breathing here. And then gently releasing the hands down, so drawing the thumbs back towards the tailbone. And then let's roll the spine up. So working your way all the way up, releasing through the hands again, circling through the shoulders. And then heel and toe the feet together. Pausing here for a moment, coming into Tadasana, the pose of the mountain. So feeling the soles of the feet down flat on the floor, lifting and lengthening through the spine. Tailbone just subtly, slightly tucks under, helping us engage gently through the core, drawing those lower ribs in, opening through the chest, feeling the shoulder blades continuing to travel down the back of the body, and softening through the arms, softening through the hands. So feeling the feet grounded down, connecting into the floor. Feeling the crown of the head, the center of the head lifting up into the sky. Allowing the breath to flow through the body. And then gently let's blink the eyes back open, having a shake out. And then let's come down onto the knees so that we can work with a side stretch from kneeling. Now, if you need a little extra padding underneath the knees, if you're working with a mat or you have a blanket, towel, jumper handy, bringing some extra padding under the knees. If you're working with a mat, then gently just doubling your mat over there. And then from here, let's extend the left leg out to the side. So I'm working in mirror image here. Left leg comes out to the side. We bring the arms up to shoulder height, keeping that gentle engagement through the core so that we can keep the spine long here. Let's inhale, and then exhaling, we soften down towards the right. So we can either come down here onto a fist, or if you're comfortable to do so, onto a flat hand. If you feel balanced, you can turn to look up to that top hand, reaching away through the top arm. Checking in with the hips here. So making sure that we're not rolling down towards the floor, opening through the hips. So pushing that lower hip, the right hip forward. And then engaging the core, making sure that we're engaging the core here so that we're supporting the spine. We inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, let's fold over. So again, working to look up to the top hand, which is becoming increasingly difficult for me to do with this sunshine. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, let's fold down once more. So coming down to the right, keeping the engagement through the core, coming onto that flat hand or a fist. A few minutes before we started class, we had cloud all morning and then the sun popped out, which I can't complain about. All right, engaging that core, inhaling, lifting once more, exhaling, coming down to the right, looking up to that top hand. Again, checking in with the hips, making sure we're not collapsing through that hip. So pushing the left hip forward. Inhaling, lifting up, and then let's swap the legs over. So leaving the arms out, drawing the leg in, bringing the right leg out to the side, rearranging yourself if you need to swap your padding around so that we make sure the knee is supported. And then let's fold over to the left. So inhaling, engaging the core, exhaling, folding down, coming either onto the flat hand or onto the fist, looking up to that top hand, lengthening. Really working to draw the top arm away from the body so that we feel that length through the side body. Making sure we're not collapsing down through the lower arm. Engaging the core, inhaling, let's lift up. And then exhaling, folding over. Looking up to the top hand, again, checking in with the hips, making sure that we're not dropping through the right hip, pushing the hip forward, lengthening. And then inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, last time, folding over. Lengthening. Checking in with the hips, continuing to push down into the hand, drawing the ear away from the shoulder. And then inhaling, engaging the core, lifting up. Exhaling, folding over. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, let's release those arms down, drawing the knees together, and then coming to a seated position so that we can bring the soles of the feet together. Drawing the heels comfortably close into the pelvis, interlacing, or rather bringing the hands around the ankles, bringing the elbows to the knees, and rocking from side to side. Really working here to take one knee and then the other down to the floor. And then coming back up to center, seeing if we can bring the heels a little closer into the hips, interlacing the fingers, wrapping those fingers around the toes, and then let's feather through the knees. So just allowing the eyes to close here. Continuing to work to lengthen through the spine. Allowing the knees to continue to bounce up and down. Moving the legs at whatever pace feels right for you. Aiming to bring a symmetrical movement into the knees. So both knees are moving up and down together. Starting to balance out both hemispheres of the brain, to get both hemispheres of the brain working in unison. And then allowing the knees to come to a still point, gently blinking the eyes open, and let's come into a comfortable cross-legged position. So as always, whatever that is for you, if it's not comfortable to work with the legs crossed, extending the legs out long, lifting up, lengthening through the spine, preparing to come into Yoga Mudra. So 3 fingers are together, the 4-finger comes into the pad of the thumb, allowing the eyes to close here. And then either working with the eyes closed or gently blinking them open. We inhale, sweeping the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. Exhaling, folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back, bowing the forehead down towards the floor. And pausing as we bow this first time in respect for self. Pausing to acknowledge what you need, the things that help you to stay grounded, centered, and the ways in which you are working to bring those things into your life. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. Exhaling, releasing the hands back down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward and bringing the backs of the hands over the knees. Pausing with the eyes closed. And then working the second time. So we inhale, sweeping the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. Exhaling, folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back. Forehead bows down towards the floor.
as we bow this second time in respect for others. Pausing to acknowledge the others in our lives who help us feel grounded, anchored, centered. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. Exhaling, releasing the hands down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward, bringing the backs of the hands to rest over the knees. Pausing with the eyes closed. And then working a third and final time. Inhaling, sweeping the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening. Exhaling, folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back and bowing the forehead down towards the floor. Bowing this third and final time in respect for all that is. Knowing that as you work towards becoming more grounded, centered, that also flows out to others. That through these changes, as we grow to become better versions of ourselves, this in fact helps the world move forward as a whole. We can be the point of light to others around us. Bowing in respect for all that is. The law of karma, of consequence. That every action has a reaction. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening. And then exhaling, releasing the hands down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward, bringing the backs of the hands to rest over the knees. And then from here, let's gently soften through the elbows, releasing the fingers. And just keeping the eyes closed, allowing them to close if they're not already closed. Connecting in with the breath, connecting in with the body. Feeling the sitting bones grinding down into the floor, feeling the crown of the head traveling up into the sky. Let's gently blink the eyes open, unwrap the legs. Taking a moment to stretch the legs out, pointing and flexing through the feet. And then let's work with a straight-legged spine twist today. So leaving your right leg out long, bending through the left knee, and then bringing that left foot to the other side of the knee, making sure both sitting bones feel firmly planted down on the floor, lifting up through the spine. And then let's turn to look out to the right. We inhale, bringing the right arm up to shoulder height, exhaling, sweeping that arm, wrapping it around the knee, and then turning to look out to the left. Inhaling, left arm comes up, exhaling, sweeping the arm back behind you, drawing the hand down to the floor in line with the spine. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening, exhaling, twisting. So aiming to turn to look back behind you. Working to twist from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head. And then releasing the head back to center, releasing the hands back to center, allowing the eyes to close. Inhaling deeply from the base of the spine, lifting the breath up into the crown of the head. And then as we exhale, sweeping that breath out through the body. Blinking the eyes open, let's unwrap that leg and then working with the opposite side. So bending through the right leg this time, bringing it to the opposite side of the knee. Cupping the hands by the hips, lifting and lengthening through the spine, and then we turn to look out to the left. Inhaling, we bring the left arm up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping the arm around the knee, turning to look out to the right. Inhaling, we bring the arm up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping that arm back behind you, lifting and lengthening through the spine and turning to look out over that back shoulder. Visualizing the nervous system functioning at its best. Visualizing messages traveling from the brain down through into the body and from the body back up into the brain. Inhaling, bringing the head back to center, releasing the hands back to starting position. Let's pause with the eyes closed. Inhaling that nice deep breath. And then as we exhale, imagine the breath traveling out through all of those nerve pathways of the body. Blinking the eyes open, let's unwrap the legs and let's roll the body down. So coming to lie down flat on the floor, preparing ourselves to work with the wedge. So gently drawing the knees into the chest. You might like to gently rock from side to side, just helping us ease through the lower back. And then bringing the hands over the knees, we run the hands down the front of the legs and then bringing the feet flat to the floor as close as we comfortably can to the buttocks. So notice that word comfortably, whatever feels right for you. We aim to have the feet approximately in line with the buttocks or with the sitting bones. Knees face up towards the sky, thigh bones point up into the sky. Hands are flat to the floor down by our side, spine feels long, and then inhaling, pushing into the feet, peeling that spine off the floor, lifting yourself up as high as we can, and then interlacing the fingers underneath the body, lifting the heels off the floor, and then working to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So seeing if in one smooth movement you can draw the shoulder blades together, helping you lift the chest a little higher. So feeling those shoulder blades drawing together. From here, releasing the hands, bringing the hands to support the lower back. And then if you would like to, you can experiment with lowering the feet down to the floor. So if this creates discomfort through the lower back, leaving your heels off the floor, otherwise coming down, bringing the feet flat to the floor, continuing to lift through the pelvis, and then breathing deeply here. Setting the breath down into the belly, watching the belly as it rises and falls with the breath. And then to release out of the position, we lift the heels back up off the floor, bringing the hands back down to the floor, coming down onto flat feet, and then unwinding the body. So rolling the body down one vertebra at a time, back down to the floor, and then bringing the knees back into the chest. So squeezing the knees in for a moment. And releasing, taking the feet up into the sky, exhaling, keeping that core engaged as we lower the heels down to the floor. And then once the heels find the floor, allowing the eyes to close, turning the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. Observing the breath, noticing whether the breath travels a little more freely down into the belly. Gently blinking the eyes open. Let's bring the hands to the heart, or alternatively, you can bring the hands to the floor underneath the lower back. We're going to work our way into a seated position. So engaging the core, lifting, looking to the feet. We inhale and lifting to sit up. So pushing into the hands as we lift the body up. And then let's come up to standing. So swinging those legs around, tucking the toes under, lengthening the backs of the legs, feeling the tailbone lifting up into the sky, rolling the body up. And then let's work with creative power pose from this standing position. So feeling the feet pushing down into the floor, lengthening through the spine. We inhale, circling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, keeping that core engaged. We fold the body forward. Releasing the arms down, taking a comfortable grip of the legs anywhere between the knees and the ankles, the feet, perhaps taking hold of the big toes. We inhale, lifting and lengthening through the spine, exhaling and aiming to take the heart down towards the toes. Continuing to feel the backs of the legs lengthening. Feeling the tailbone lifting up into the sky, feeling the heart extending down towards the feet, and feeling a gentle squeeze here through the groin. Releasing the grip on the legs, bringing the arms out alongside the ears, engaging the core. So if we have any back issues, you might like to instead bring the hands to the hips. Otherwise, we engage the core, inhaling, lifting the body up. Exhaling, circling the arms back down, pausing here with the eyes closed. Keeping that length through the spine. And then blinking the eyes open. Let's have a quick shake out and then stepping the feet a comfortable distance apart, preparing for the bandhas. So feet come a comfortable distance apart. We gently bend through the knees. Feet are angled out towards the sides and the knees are tracking over the toes. Hands just rest on the top of the thighs. We keep the spine long and then let's exhale. Inhaling a nice deep breath down into the belly. Filling through the belly, the chest, the top of the lungs. Exhaling, pushing all of that breath out. And then with no breath in the body, we suck the stomach muscles back up and underneath the rib cage. We aim to engage through the pelvic floor, engaging through the abdominals, and then creating this lock through the top of the chest. So chin tucks down into the chest. Inhaling when you need to breathe, exhaling, folding forward. So we tuck the chin into the chest here when we are in the position, in the posture, so that we are not able to let any extra air into the body. Inhaling, let's roll ourselves up so that we can work a second time. Softening through the knees, resting the hands on the thighs, exhaling, inhaling, holding, exhaling, getting rid of all of the breath through the body. With no breath left, we suck the stomach muscles back up and under, chin tucks into the chest. When you need to breathe, we should need to gasp for air and then exhaling, folding yourself forward. Don't be afraid to cough. Sometimes getting into the bottoms of the lungs here stirs up a bit of a cough. And then while we're folded over here, we just aim to soften the body as much as we can. Inhaling, let's lift up, working a third and final time. So softening the knees. Let's gently exhale and then inhaling to a count of 7. Holding. Exhaling. Sucking the stomach muscles back up and under, chin tucks into the chest. Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, folding yourself forward. From here, let's work our way down onto the front of the body. So coming to lie down on the belly here. Turning the head gently to one side, just pausing for a moment. And then let's have a go at working with the full bow this morning. So let's bend the legs, bringing the feet up towards the buttocks, and then seeing if we can reach around to take hold
of the ankles or the feet. So we want to here think about drawing those shoulder blades back and down. That will help make your arms a little bit longer and help us reach down towards the feet. If you can't reach for the feet today, that's absolutely okay. We'll simply work with the arms back behind you, interlacing the hands, and then when we lift, you will just lift all of those limbs off the floor. So for starting with the forehead down on the floor, tucking the chin in slightly, squeezing the shoulder blades together so that our shoulders are already lifted off the floor. And then inhaling, let's lift through the chest, lift through the head, seeing if we can lift the chest a little higher off the floor, and then working to lift through the knees. And then last of all, working to take the feet up into the sky. Looking forward here, feeling that we are working with the willpower, with your strength and determination. Seeing if you can lift up a little higher, breathing and exhaling, gently softening the body down, bringing the forehead back to the floor, releasing the legs, and then turning the head to one side and pausing, allowing the breath to flow, observing any changes in the body. Perhaps the heart is beating a little faster. And then let's from here work our way into Cobra or Sphinx. So bringing the hands down flat to the floor underneath the shoulders, forearms come down to the floor, elbows tuck in towards the ribs. If we have any lower back issues, then you might prefer to work with the Sphinx. So with Sphinx, we simply bring the hands one hand length forward, and then as you lift up, you stay down on the forearms. So starting with the forehead flat to the floor, making sure that we feel long through the spine. So perhaps walking the legs back behind you to create a little extra length. And then inhaling, let's lift through the head, looking forward, lifting through the chest. And then as we gently push down into the hands, we think about continuing to lengthen the chest forward, so that we are continuing to lengthen out through the lower back. Seeing if you can soften gently through the buttocks. Looking forward, feeling that compression through the heart. So really working to extend the heart forward, to push the heart forward. Inhaling, exhaling, let's soften down. Again, aiming to lengthen through the spine as we lower down. Bringing the forehead flat to the floor. And then from here, let's push into the hands, lifting ourselves back into a wide-legged pose of the child. So bringing the knees a little wider than hip width distance apart, bringing the buttocks back to the heels, softening yourself down, continuing to reach forward with the hands, seeing if you can perhaps even walk the arms a little further away from the body so that we're again working to create that length through the spine. Softening here, feeling the breath traveling down into the belly. Inhaling, lifting yourself up, and then let's roll down onto the back. So rolling yourself down, coming onto the back of the body, squeezing the knees into the chest. Having a go today at the pose of tranquility as an alternative variation to shoulder stand. So for this one, we bring the hands down, flat to the floor, palms face down, feet come up into the sky. We engage the core. Exhaling, we aim to take the feet over the head, and then bringing the arms towards the feet. We run the hands along the legs so that we come into a balanced position here. So hands might be on the shins, they might make it all the way up to the knees. You can have the feet about hip width distance apart and feeling that we are balancing on the shoulders.
Feeling that gentle squeeze or lock through the throat. And then from here, to release out of the position, we simply run the hands back down the legs, bringing the arms back down to the floor, engaging through the core. We slowly unwind the body. So leaving the arms up overhead, releasing one vertebra at a time down to the floor. Keeping that engagement through the core, we lower the feet down to the floor. And then bringing the arms back down as well. Pausing with the eyes closed. Allowing the breath to flow down into the belly. And then from here, let's quietly, gently work our way into the fish. So bending through the knees, bringing the feet flat to the floor, interlacing the thumbs underneath the body. So lifting through the pelvis, interlacing the thumbs, squeezing the arms together, having the arms nice and straight as long as we can underneath the body, lowering the pelvis back down so that we come to sit on flat hands. Unlocking the thumbs, lengthening through the legs. Let's inhale as we push down into the elbows, lifting the heart up into the sky. Continuing to lift up through the heart, pushing down into the elbows, so making sure we're not collapsing down here. Breathing, feeling the head just dangling or draping back behind you. And then exhaling, slowly, gently, lengthening the body down, lengthening through the neck, coming back down to the floor, pushing into the heels, releasing the hands from underneath the body, and then bringing the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. Allowing the eyes to softly close, connecting in with the body. Noticing how the body feels, noticing whatever you notice. And then let's work our way up to a seated position. So moving gently, slowly, and then coming around, preparing ourselves for the elephant. So swinging over onto all fours. And then let's keep the knees about hip width distance apart, tucking the toes under, sending the tailbone up into the sky. Looking to the feet, and then let's step the feet to about mat width distance apart. So we're aiming for a little wider than hip width distance here. And then softening the body. So feeling the tailbone lifting up, perhaps lengthening through the backs of the legs, softening the heels down to the floor. Our main aim, however, here is to have that head and the neck soft and long. So gently pushing into the hands so that we create a little more space between the shoulders and the ears. Feeling that neck lengthening, perhaps turning the head from one side to the other side, giving the head and the neck a little shake out. And then pausing, feeling gravity helping you to lengthen and soften through the head, the neck, feeling all of the muscles of the face softening. And then gently blinking the eyes open, looking to the hands, we step the feet back together, drawing the knees back down to the floor, untucking the toes. Let's sink the buttocks back to the heels, and then resting your forehead on two fists. Pausing here for a moment, just allowing the body to bring itself back into balance. And then gently, when you feel ready, inhaling, lifting the body up. And then let's roll ourselves down, coming to find a comfortable position for relaxation. So, rolling yourself all the way down. The option today is either to have the legs extended, or if there's any tightness through the lower back, you might like to work with the knees bent. We bring the feet flat to the floor and then step the feet a little wider apart so that they're a little wider than hip width distance apart. And then just allow the knees to flop together so that we can relax through the whole body. We don't need to spend any effort or energy holding the legs in position. So either the knees are bent or otherwise extending the legs out long. Softening through the body, allowing the eyes to close. Bringing the arms down to the floor. Having the palms of the hands face up towards the sky. Arms can be in any position you like, from down by your side to out at shoulder height, maybe even towards up overhead. Whatever feels right for you in this moment. Palms of the hands face up towards the sky. Just allowing yourself to soften gently into the floor here. Feeling yourself lengthening through the spine. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Feeling the shoulders softening down towards the floor. Releasing through the palms of the hands. And feeling that as we soften through the hands, that the fingers want to just lightly curl. Drawing the breath down into the belly. Feeling the rise and fall of the belly. Softening through the hips. Softening through the thighs, through the calves. Allowing the ankles to release. And feeling the feet just flop apart. Feeling yourself softening, melting down a little further with each exhalation. Drawing the awareness up into the crown of the head, feeling the scalp soften, releasing through the forehead. Softening through the eyes, allowing the eyes to sink deeply down into their sockets. Softening through the cheeks, the corners of the eyes, releasing the jaw. Allowing the tongue to just rest gently in your mouth. Allowing yourself to soften. And then gently bringing the awareness back into the breath, back into the body. With your next inhalation, wiggling through the fingers and the toes. And then when you're ready, taking the arms up overhead, lengthening the body out, having a nice big stretch out. And then rolling over onto one side. And then slowly, gently working your way up into a seated position. So finding a nice comfortable seat. Moving slowly, drawing the hands together, drawing them to the heart, allowing the eyes to close. Inhaling, and then let's exhale as we bow the body forward. Sending some thoughts of kindness to yourself, and then extending those thoughts out to others. Inhaling, lifting the body up, and exhaling, releasing the hands, blinking the eyes open. And as always, Thank you for joining me.